bus starts and will potentially move, but it will not stop. It has 0 brakes. Many of the parts are missing. Many of the parts are just old and rusted through, need replaced. I'm going to upgrade it and put new brakes in it. This master cylinder is trash, rusted out, and doesn't pump fluid. The brake booster, which was a remote brake booster, was under the cab on the driver's side. Anyways, I ripped it out because I knew there's no way that was gonna work. I made new brake lines. Here's the old fitting. This is the new fitting. That wasn't there. This was a pain. A very big pain to find this guy. But I got him now, so let's go install it. Cleaned up the threads of both holes and cleaned up the mating surface. Now I'm going to mount everything. Got these brake lines ran and all tightened up. The bleed off valves, or the bleeder valves, are still a little loose. That's so I could pump hopefully pump fluid through all these. I still need to do the bleeder valves on this side. I have the bleeder screws in now, so I think everything back here is done. Just need to do all the brakes up front. I haven't even looked at the front brakes. I don't even know if they're there. I don't even know if they exist. I assume they do, but I don't know if they do. Once I watched the last video 2 or 3 times, I hated this hose. So I'm gonna replace it real quick. In mounting this master cylinder, this clutch push rod is in the way. Instead of moving the clutch push rod, I'm gonna space this master cylinder out a couple inches. First thing I need to do is build a backing plate for this. Made this, transferred over to this, now I need to cut this out. Got a new piece. I think it's like 1/16 of an inch thick, maybe a little small. I'm still gonna use it. Maybe a little thin, I'm still gonna use it. Have the wrist snapper off for 5,000 right here. Getting ready to well, that's not good. Boom. I need to space this out, so I'm going to put these on all four corners. But I'm also going to put some Loctite down there to make sure they don't ever come loose. To make sure these are extended correctly, I'm going to put some studs in the end. I believe these studs are actually for header bolts, or actually header studs, but they'll do the job. So, made my fancy little cardboard cutout, transferred it to this, cut all my holes, bolted it in. Gotta drill some holes through the firewall, and hope everything works. Put a couple extra spacers on it. Let's see if it doesn't hit. I don't hear it hitting. The cab, everything's attached. My brake pedal is attached. Now to actually attach the master cylinder. Before I do anything else, I should probably check to see if this push rod is actually push rodding. Installed the master cylinder. I put the plugs on the inside because I figured it would be better, easier, and look better. The brake lines came out this way, then went down. Found what's going on. Right here is where the brake lines came in. This side went back, this side went forward, obviously. And right up there, it's split again. One side went to the front left wheel, and the other one went around in front of the frame and went to the right front wheel. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna cut this right here. Just get rid of this whole fitting right here, cut it right here, put a two-way valve or a two-way connection on there, and run that to the rear brakes. Take this entire line out and use that splitter and take that one from the front line. So it's a good thing I decided to run this all myself, all of this new brake line, because the old brake line broke off somewhat easy. Got the old line out, got the new line in. Runs all the way up. Have the rear brakes all connected. Now start working on the front. Move that front brake line. I did like every other one, just bent it until it broke. Put a socket on there, spin it off. I definitely needed to replace all these lines. There's rust inside and out, and they're just disgusting. So have it routed and connected down here. Got everything connected. Still need to fix a little bit of the routing. Right now they're just kind of sitting there. Have everything together, everything's tight. I'm gonna start bleeding stuff now. I was able to bleed the front right one, front passenger. That's what I got out. Pretty nasty, pretty gross. Front brakes are done. I pumped it all out, ran the fluid till it's clear. I think I got front brakes. Something inside this drum burst and it's leaking fluid everywhere. I have front brakes, don't have rear brakes. Something in this driver's rear drum blew up. So I'm gonna have to pull both of those wheels and see what's going on. Need to remove these tires so I could rebuild the brakes on the inside. See if I can break her loose. This may be an issue. These aren't just sitting on there, they're threaded on there. I don't have a wrench, the square-headed wrench that'll fit on there, so I need to figure something out there. Have the right socket. See if we can get these bad boys removed. So I think I gotta remove this. Getting these lugs off on this side, kind of difficult. That's been sitting there for like 5 minutes, just like that. Use a reverse thread on this side. Ooh, baby! I ain't gonna touch that because she's warm. Apparently to take this hub off, it's one big unit. There's a nut here, then a washer, then another nut that spin off, and then this thing just falls right off. Got this first little nut that'll be able to get spun off there decently easy. Then we got these little ears that have to be bent back so those can spin. So I got it cleaned up. I got all the little tabs bent back, but it's on there pretty tight. The last person to tighten this, I can confidently say they over tightened it. They beat the crap out of this poor thing. Like, look at right there, all of these edges on this bolter been messed up. I was able to get the nut off. She took a lot more persuading than she should have. If everything is correct and nothing's broken back there, I'm told this should just slide right off now. Let's see. Oh, hey. It moves now. This axle does have a little bit of a chip on it right there. Last person to take these out was not gentle and enjoyed using a hammer. This side was barely finger tight. Came right out. Well, these are extremely heavy, and I wouldn't doubt it. This one doesn't even have shoes on it. That's awesome. Ooh, hey, that's seen better days. Found my leak. Got the brake cylinders off, top and bottom. Searched for part numbers on them. The real question is, do I take these wheel cylinders off, or do I just hope and pray that they look good, that they work. Because they look decent. It's just... I took everything off both wheels, completely stripped them, and I took the old brake shoes to a local shop, and they're hopefully going to be able to find me some other ones for the left side. They look, like I said, a local shop is finding me some brake shoes and some springs. I was able to look up the castings on one of these and found them at Napa. So I got 4 new wheel cylinders or slave cylinders, whichever you want to call them, coming. It's been about a month, maybe a little bit longer. It's been about 6 weeks. Here's my shoe. The original shoe that came off the passenger side rear wheel. Searched everywhere I could find on it. Find this shoe. There's some part numbers sketched in here. I brought it to a brake shop. They couldn't find it. They gave me a few part numbers that didn't actually look like this. And then I scoured the internet for about 20 hours, found a couple part numbers, and gave it to the brake shop, and they said those parts aren't existent. They couldn't find it. So I ordered this. It's pretty similar, except this is 2 inches, this is way smaller than this. So I brought this part to the brake shop, and they said, I brought this to the brake shop saying, hey, maybe I could get these retrofitted to fit where these did. And they said, since it has such a smaller surface area, it'll never quite work right. Okay, and then I asked them again, well, with these part numbers, maybe you could do something, or maybe cut this off. You know, I was willing to give the brake shop quite a bit of money to get these. They said they couldn't do it. So I scoured the internet for probably another 20 hours, called as many brake shops as I could, emailed probably 6 or 7 shops that specialize in international trucks. Couldn't find anything. Here's my solution. This brake shoe is the correct dimensions. Well, close enough to be the correct dimensions, but this piece of steel in the middle isn't. What my plan is now to mark this out, put it on here, cut this out so this little piece looks like this, and then use these brake shoes. Got it marked out. Let's start cutting it, see if I can get it to work. Okay, so we got the holes drilled out, and I was just going to drill these out and then try to use a Dremel or a die grinder to make the holes better. Didn't really work out. It kept grabbing. When it got close to these 2 holes, got close enough, kept grabbing and tried to break my wrist a few times. So I did a thing and I bought a plasma cutter. So I'm just going to plasma cut these holes out, or this center hole out. I still got to cut the other one, so I'll probably just plasma cut these notches and everything out of the other one. Here's the other one I haven't touched yet. Gonna see how good I can get it. So I'm just gonna clean all these cuts and everything up now. Here's the original. Here's the two I cut. Not bad, huh? Not the best. Not bad. This has been just sitting out open to the world for about a month, so it's gross. Got those wheel cylinders back on. Threw a little grease in them just to, you know, help these little bars move out faster or better, smoother, whatever. Now I'm gonna put the rest of this stuff back on there. Okay, I believe that's how it goes. The other side's not going to be that easy. All right, internet, what's the correct way to do this? Put a ratchet strap around the shoes, and then another couple ratchet strap to suck it in. Now I'm just beating it like this. Probably say, oh, you don't have this $7,000 tool to do this? It's super easy if you have this $7,000 tool. Definitely not the right way to do that, but it's the way I did it. So this isn't a how-to video again. Entertainment purposes only. Got that brake shoe on. Had to grind and kind of adjust a little bit, but it's on. Let's go get the other one and put that one on now. Ah, so close. Got the springs all on. Next problem I have is these springs are much smaller than the other springs on the other side. Are they gonna work? I was thinking of putting another hole like right here and then using another spring on top of it. But here's my other spring I have. I don't know if that'll work. What do you think? I realize you can't answer. I figured it'll work. These springs were a little shorter than the other ones. They're not as strong, but they're pretty dang close. I'm gonna call that good. Got it all marked up where I think I need to trim. Now let's go trim it. Got everything back on. See if we can slide it on one more again. After a large amount of cussing, beating on it, and 5 or 6 broken ratchet straps, this is finally on there. Didn't want anybody to see me cry. Now let's put this thing in there. I put all 4 rear tires back on. Well, those little nuts that hold those bearings in, to hold those wheels on, got them as tight as I possibly could, but the wheels don't rotate. There's so much tension on those brakes that the wheels don't rotate. I can't get them to rotate. So I need to torque those down correctly, but to do that I need to rotate the wheels back and forth. So I'm gonna break the whole bus to lead for a bit, break the wheels loose, hopefully get those brakes to skid a little bit, or you know, the wheels to rotate, the brakes to free up a little bit, jack her all back up, and then do that whole thingy again to seat those bearings in there. So this is one of those times where I know it's the wrong way to do it. I just don't care anymore. Let's see what happens. I didn't even take it off the jack stands. If I'm going to do everything wrong, I might as well do it way wrong. Pulled her around, I moved her up to part of my cement, a little gravel right there. Should be a little easier moving stuff in and out. I'm gonna throw this little washer thingy up in there. And it fits the way it should. Let's go put this other outside nut on. Got those little pins or flaps or whatever bent up. Pain in the butt. Now I'm going to go throw the axle in. Got all 4 rear tires back on. Everything's bled. Bus is good to go. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to wait for the first drive till next week. Yeah, I know it's a little bit of a bait and switch, but it happens. This is YouTube. Tune in next week to see the first drive on this thing.